because of premature birth. My daughter Anne was put into an incubator as soon as she was born. Shin Mohan gave me a divorce agreement at this time. You also know that Man Ru was a popular actress before the accident, and these 10 months have made her lose her popularity. If there is another scandal of having a child out of wedlock, she will be forced to death by the internet exposure. I just walked through the gates of hell, and now the slightest movement will pull the wound. Since I was reborn to this day, it means that God wants to give me a chance to choose again. Divorce is okay, but you have to get a birth certificate for the child first, and I want compensation. Shin Mohan originally thought of a set of words to deal with my crying. Now that he heard that I accepted it calmly, he immediately breathed a sigh of relief. Okay, 1 million. Is that enough? Shin Mohan is worth hundreds of billions, but he is only willing to give me 1 million. I grabbed the bedsheet, knowing that he would not give more if I asked, so I could only nod. He went to get the certificate, and I signed after confirming that it was correct. After getting the agreement, Shin Mohan couldn't wait to find Su Manru, and didn't even have the heart to take a look at our child. The next ward was very lively, and everyone was celebrating the birth of a new life. I was the only one without a father or a mother, and now I don't even have a husband. 2 days later, Anne came out of the incubator, and I wrapped myself and the child tightly and prepared to go home. On the way back, I received a call from the secretary, Ms. Chin. Please remember to forward the group's public relations draft. I haven't got the divorce certificate yet, but I am not even worthy of the word Mrs. Shin. In order to give Su Manru dignity, Shin Mohan asked me to say that the reason for the divorce was a breakdown in the relationship. I agreed without hesitation. But my mobile phone was low on battery, so I planned to send it when I got home. As soon as I returned to the villa, I asked the servants to close all the windows, but no one paid attention to me. When I took the child to the baby room, I heard them whispering in the kitchen. How shameless. You dare to bring back the child you stole from a man. Mr. Shin was soft-hearted and didn't sue her. It's fine if she's not grateful, but she wants to bring a bastard to share Mr. Shin's money. I paused, and my back, wrapped in thick clothes, was sweating profusely. How did the relationship break down? What nonsense are you talking about? I opened the kitchen door. The servants who used to respectfully call me wife raised their heads and looked at me with disdain. Auntie Wang was bold and spit at me directly. Who's talking nonsense? The group has issued a notice. You cheated on someone during your marriage and we are not allowed to scold you. I hurried back to the room, charged my phone, and opened Weibo. The hot search was Mr. Shin officially announced his divorce because Ms. Chin Li cheated on him during her marriage. Mr. Shin Mohan has dissolved his marriage with her. This is hereby announced. My head banged, and my head hurt. In order to let Su Manru take the position reasonably, Shin Mohan did not hesitate to destroy my honor. I was just about to clarify under the hot search, but my phone suddenly vibrated, almost waking up Anne, who was sleeping soundly. I answered the call, and the police officer on the other end was very excited. Sister Chin, the traffickers have confessed that you were abducted from Huzhou. We have joined forces with the Huzhou police to investigate the family that lost the child. You must rush over within 3 days to do a paternity test. My heart, which was broken by Shin Mohan, suddenly became happy, and my tears dripped down. Since I was abducted to this city when I was 5 years old, I have never had a good day. I thought marrying Shin Mohan was my new life, but it turned out to be another hell for me. But now, I have a chance to find my biological parents, and my child will have a family that loves her. After hanging up the phone, I immediately packed 2 pieces of clothes and turned to go to the baby room to get some baby products. As soon as I turned the door handle, the door of the villa was pushed open. Chin Li, who let you in? Shin Mohan frowned, looking unhappy. I want to get some clothes for the child. The things in that room are for Manru's child. If you want them, buy them yourself. Everything in the baby room was carefully selected by me for the child, but he wanted to give it to Su Manru's child, even though her child has no blood relationship with him. I endured the disappointment in my heart and did not insist on this matter. Auntie Wang suddenly pulled me with a stern face and dragged me out. Boss Shen wants us to go to the confinement center to take care of Miss Sue. My wound hurt from being pulled, and I hurriedly shouted to him, I just gave birth, I need to stay in confinement. Shen Mohan didn't even turn his head. So, you have experience, okay, stop talking nonsense. You have done so much rough work since you were a child. You are very strong. Why do you need to stay in confinement? After that, he got into the Maybach, and I was stuffed into the van and went to the confinement center. When I arrived, Su Manru was lying on the bed, surrounded by a dozen nurses. Seeing me, she struggled to sit up. Sister-in-law is here. Sit down quickly. Giving birth is hard. Shen Mohan gently pushed her down and glanced at me. She can run 10 kilometers even with a broken leg. This is nothing. Qin Li, as long as you take good care of Manru, I will give you an extra $1,000,000. It's a good deal, right? An extra $1,000,000 is really tempting. I bit my lip. No, my child has no one to take care of him at home. A trace of hesitation flashed across his eyes, but Su Manru grabbed his hand. Brother Shen, if sister-in-law doesn't want to take care of me, let her go back. I don't want to embarrass you. Shen Mohan held her hand to comfort her, but he looked at me with disgust. I think highly of you to take care of Manru. You are an orphan with no money and power. It's okay if you marry me and can't create value for me, and you can't even do superficial work. Now you can serve Manru comfortably, which is the greatest use. He was used to suppressing me on weekdays, and he ordered Aunt Wang to go back regardless of my pale face. But Aunt Wang always hated me for marrying into the Shen family. How could she take care of me wholeheartedly? Shen Mohan didn't want to listen to me, so he asked me to feed Su Manru the confinement meal. I looked back at the closed door and realized that I couldn't get out. I could only drag my tired and hungry body to feed Su Manru. As soon as a mouthful of soup reached her mouth, she suddenly stepped back a few centimeters and screamed in pain. Ah, it's so hot. Shen Mohan picked up the soup bowl and smashed it on me, and the sticky chicken soup spilled all over me. Why are you so angry? You burned Manru. Don't think about eating today. Su Manru leaned on him, tears falling down. Brother Shen, don't be angry. Sister-in-law didn't mean it. Don't call her sister-in-law. I'll take her to get the divorce certificate tomorrow. I was left out by the side, smelling of chicken soup, but there was no one who cared about me. The next day Shen Mohan took me out of the confinement center and went to get the divorce certificate. After leaving the Civil Affairs Bureau, he got into the car by himself. I'm going to buy the latest bag for Manru. You go back by yourself, he said gloomily. Qin Li, if you don't get to the confinement center within half an hour, you know the consequences. The Maybach whizzed past, and I turned around and took a taxi back to the villa. As soon as I entered the gate, I heard the cry of a baby in the small room in the yard, but that's where the security guard lives. I pushed the door in hastily and saw that Myanin was casually placed on the dirty single bed. There was my maternity bag and milk powder next to her, but she looked pale and didn't even have the strength to cry. I'm afraid she hasn't had milk since yesterday. She hasn't changed her diaper either. I didn't bother to settle accounts with Aunt Wang. I held the child to change diapers and feed milk. After burping, Annan gave me a sweet smile. My eyes were hot, and tears fell on her quilt. Su Manru's child was taken care of by more than a dozen nannies, but my child was forgotten and couldn't even drink milk. Don't be afraid, Annan, Mom will take you away. Suddenly someone knocked on the door outside. As soon as I opened it, Shen Mohan slapped me. Qin Li, how dare you bring so many gangsters home? I held Annan and was pushed into the villa by Shen Mohan. Su Manru was wrapped tightly and followed by several nannies. In the villa, I suddenly saw several gangster-like men sleeping on the floor, with hangover flushes on their faces. The house was in a mess, as if a party had just ended. There were people sleeping in the bedroom and study, and there were even 5 people lying on the bed in the master bedroom, and some were naked. I panicked. It wasn't me. I didn't even get in the door. Auntie Wang came out and said with a choked voice, Boss Shen, dozens of hooligans suddenly broke in last night, saying that Miss Qin gave them the keys and asked them to come and play. They also thought the child was in the way and threw the child to the security room. I trembled and shook my head violently. I don't know them at all, and I was in the confinement center yesterday. How could I give them the keys? Yeah, sister-in-law was still taking care of me yesterday. Brother Shen, Why don't you wake them up and ask? Su Manru pulled Shun Mohan's sleeve, his gloomy face softened immediately. And he ordered someone to wake up the nearest man. Who let you in? The little hooligans said with their eyes wide open. A woman named Qin Li gave us a key, saying that their villa was empty and invited us to come and play. Hurry, 10 more bottles of wine. What he held in his hand was exactly my bunch of keys, with my little bear keychain on it. I subconsciously touched my pocket, and it was empty. No, my key is lost, not me. You still dare to be stubborn. Poor Manru is worried about you and insists on going home, otherwise I wouldn't know you have such a disgusting mind. You clearly want to have an affair with these people in the villa. Shun Mohan became more and more impatient and asked Aunt Wang to lock me in the security room. Su Manru was still coquettishly behind me. Brother Shun, sister-in-law is just playing around. Why are you so angry? If she is not punished, she will not learn her lesson. This house is dirty. Let's live in another villa. The security room was locked, and I watched them go out of the door through the glass. Su Manru was surrounded in the middle and gave me a triumphant smile. Late at night, I finally coaxed the crying Anan to sleep, and the lights suddenly went out. Thinking that the voltage in the security room was unstable, I turned on my phone to buy a train ticket. There was a sound of unlocking in my ear, and then Su Manru appeared in the moonlight, without Shun Mohan. Her eyes were sinister and vicious. You want 1 million after the divorce. Qin Li, I really underestimated your shamelessness. I immediately hugged Anan and backed away, but the room was small and there was nowhere to escape. Su Manru, I have no grudges against you. Why do you hurt me again and again? No grudges. If it weren't for you, I should have been the one marrying Brother Shun. I frowned. Indeed, an orphan like me was not qualified to marry him. Last year, I happened to save Grandpa Shun, who had a sudden heart attack. In order to repay his kindness, he threatened Shun Mohan with his life and forced him to marry me. Shun Mohan had no choice but to obey and get the marriage certificate with me. We didn't have a wedding, and the group announcement only had one sentence. After marriage, Shun Mohan used me as a tool to vent, torturing me every day so that I couldn't get out of bed. Within a month, I was pregnant. I originally thought that I would be able to live a stable life with a family, but Grandpa Shun died a week before I gave birth, and I was completely without support. So Su Manru believed that I had taken her position as Mrs. Shun. But now you have got what you wanted. Why don't you let me go? No. If you and Brother Shun hadn't gotten married, I wouldn't have gone to the bar to get drunk, and I wouldn't have had this evil child. It's all because of you. Qin Li, I want you dead. She picked up the baton on the table and rushed towards me, and I quickly dodged. The next second she screamed hard, hit the foot of the bed hard, and fell to the ground. Shun Mohan rushed in. Qin Li, are you crazy? Su Manru's forehead was bleeding, and she fell weakly in his arms. Brother Shun, I'm worried that my sister-in-law is not living well here, so I want to come and see her, but I didn't expect her to say that I was a vixen and wanted to beat me to death. Shun Mohan pressed her forehead distressedly, looking at me gritting his teeth. Qin Li, Manru tolerates everything. Why are you pressing step by step? She still has to work on filming. Do you want to ruin her future? Anan was frightened by him and cried non-stop. I comforted him and questioned him. Shun Mohan, do you believe everything she said? Unlike a vulgar person like you, you don't say a word of truth. Shun Mohan picked up Su Manru horizontally and called Aunt Wang to catch me. Come with me to the hospital. If Manru has a scar on her face, I will smash your face. In the hospital corridor, Aunt Wang was too lazy to watch over me and went directly to the end of the corridor to make a phone call. Anan kept crying and I kept comforting her, but she was frightened and couldn't calm down. A middle-aged woman with a good figure came out of the ward closest to me. Seeing me holding the child, she took the initiative to give me a pack of diapers. Change it. Maybe you peed. The woman smiled gently, and I was very grateful. Even a stranger cared about her more than Anan's biological father. After changing the diaper, I saw Aunt Wang was still on the phone, holding Anan, and wanted to run to the fire escape downstairs. But I saw Shun Mohan coming over with Su Manru in a menacing manner. When I looked up, there was another slap. Bitch. I should have taken your phone away earlier. I was staggering after being beaten, and Aunt Wang also hurried over. When I came to my senses, Su Manru had a bandage on her forehead and was crying loudly in public. Sister Chin, before you and Brother Shen divorced, we were just innocent friends. How can you say I'm a mistress on the internet? You've wronged me so much. I might as well die. Shen Mohan grabbed her arm and gave her a look. And Aunt Wang snatched Anan away while I wasn't paying attention. Give the child back to me. I was anxious and rushed over to get the child back. But Shen Mohan grabbed my neck fiercely until I was about to suffocate and my face flushed before he suddenly let go. Come with me to start a live broadcast and say that it was you who cheated, and Manru and I are innocent. Otherwise, you'll never see your child again. I breathed heavily and saw Aunt Wang, at Su Manru's signal, put a handkerchief on Anan's face. She wanted to smother Anan to death. Anan's crying became quieter and quieter. But Shen Mohan refused to even give her a look. He didn't treat Anan as his own child at all. I fell to my knees in fear. Okay, I promise you. I just ask you to let Anan go. In the live broadcast that day, I held my child and admitted my fault in tears. I am Chin Li, Shen Mohan's ex-wife. We have divorced because he found out that she cheated on me during marriage, Ms. Su Manru and he are innocent. Everything is a rumor made by me. I am shameless and jealous. After the live broadcast, Shen Mohan gave me a new phone. You are sensible. This is a new number for Manru to contact you. Manru is kind-hearted. She is afraid that you can't find a job, so she lets you stay in our house as a servant. I took the phone obediently and got on the servant's van. Then, while refueling, I threw away the phone and ran straight to the train station with the child in my arms. I didn't sleep all night. When I got off the train the next day, the police officer who was in contact waved to me. Ms. Chin, when you were abducted, many children were lost in Huzhou, and some people didn't report it to the police. So it's a bit difficult. The result will probably have to wait. I nodded, left his phone number, and went to find a place to live, but I only had a temporary ID card. No bank card, and I was holding a newborn baby, so several landlords refused to rent to me. Anan was hungry, and I was holding the only 50 yuan in cash left in my pocket after buying an old phone and a phone card, and wanted to find a public toilet for her to drink milk. Just after walking a few steps, several men rushed out of the intersection, holding their phones for 2 seconds to compare, and then ran towards me. My intuition told me that I had to run, but I was still in confinement, and I had no strength in my body. I was out of breath after running 2 blocks. Seeing that there was an internet cafe next to me, I hurriedly took my child in and hid in the bathroom. Unfortunately, the lock core was still broken. In the noisy environment, the men squeezed in and checked one by one. I vaguely heard someone complaining, "Damn, she ran so fast with a child in her arms. Stop talking nonsense. Hurry up and find them." The client said that they must not be allowed to leave Huzhou alive. I broke out in a cold sweat. I started a live broadcast yesterday. Shen Mohan would not kill me, so it can only be Su Manru. She found out my destination and sent someone to kill us. The man's voice was getting closer and closer, and someone suggested searching the bathroom. I held my breath. My heartbeat was about to jump out of my throat. No, outside. It must be here. Search one by one. I heard the messy footsteps and grabbed the small handle tightly. Suddenly, one of the footsteps stopped, and the door was suddenly pulled open. I was almost pulled out by inertia, but soon I stood still and found that it was a boy with red hair and sportswear. He looked at me in surprise at first, then lowered his head and found the child in my arms, and his eyebrows were knitted. "Go in," he whispered. After that, he walked in and closed the door, shouting to the outside, "Brother, did you bring paper?" The man who was about to search this door shouted impatiently, "No, no." They left cursing, and the boy asked hesitantly, "Sister, are you running with the ball?" I wiped my tears, and my legs were soft after my nerves relaxed. "No, I'm because I couldn't say it." The boy stopped asking questions, and when the men left, his cell phone rang. There was a woman's voice over there. "Come out." The boy pouted and walked out, and I hurriedly followed him. After leaving the internet cafe, a Bentley on the roadside rolled down the window, and a woman stared at him seriously. "Go home," the boy muttered, and the woman was about to roll down the window, but suddenly looked at me. "Girl, what a coincidence. I was also stunned. She was the middle-aged woman who showed me kindness in the hospital yesterday. The woman asked me to call her Aunt Jiang. Seeing that I had no place to live, she simply took me home. Her family lived in the suburbs. After the car entered the community, it turned a few corners and stopped downstairs of a villa. After getting off the car, she said to me gently, "There are many rooms here. You can live anywhere." I was very grateful and kept thanking her while holding an N. Aunt Jiang smiled. "Don't be polite with me. I just feel that I have a destiny with you. I once had a daughter. If she had grown up safely, she would be the same age as you." I looked at the sadness spreading on her face and comforted her. "Aunt's daughter will miss you very much." Aunt Jiang smiled, told someone to prepare maternal and child supplies, and took me to the room. The boy ran over with a teddy bear doll. "Let the child play." I laughed. This is the first time I laughed out loud since giving birth. "Thank you for an N. What a nice name." I washed my hands. "Can I hug her?" The boy was eager to try. After getting my permission, he carefully hugged her. The magical thing is that Anan giggled as soon as she got into his arms, and Aunt Jiang was also very happy, and hurried to hug her. Anan laughed non-stop, and Aunt Jiang was surprised and happy. If my daughter was still here, I would also be a grandmother. I wanted to comfort her. And the young servant I just met hurried up to the second floor. "Madam, don't be fooled. I know this woman. She is the ex-wife of the president of Shen Group. She cheated on her husband and gave birth to an illegitimate daughter. Before Shen Mohan made a move, all the content that exposed Su Manru as a mistress was removed. He was a little confused and asked his secretary to check and found out that those revelations were posted by Su Manru herself. Just as he was surprised, Su Manru pushed the door in and sat on his lap with her waist twisted. "Brother Shen, when will you take me to the International Fashion Week?" The wound on her forehead was much shallower. The doctor clearly said that she needed to rest for half a year. Shen Mohan's eyes moved down and noticed that her lower abdomen was flat, her figure was graceful, and her face was also rosy. She didn't look like she had just given birth. Thinking back to Qin Li's bloated figure, "Manru, did you really give birth only 1 day earlier than Qin Li?" Su Manru was stunned. Shen Mohan understood that she was lying. The child was born a long time ago. And according to the time calculation, it was not the time for them to get the marriage certificate, so she was already pregnant long before he and Qin Li got married. But he was not angry, but felt incredible. He and Su Manru had been childhood sweethearts for more than 20 years. He watched her grow up innocently and bravely, and entered the entertainment industry with passion. Because he felt sorry for her, he used Shen's resources to give her resources and connections. Even though her acting skills were mediocre, he promoted her to the position of the queen of the film. Before marrying Qin Li, he wanted to elope with her and go abroad to hide his identity. But she said she didn't want to give up everything she had, so he had to obey his grandfather and marry Qin Li. Unexpectedly, she was heartbroken and drunk and was humiliated by others, and disappeared for 10 months. He knew that he was sorry for her, so when she called to say that she had a child, he couldn't wait to find Qin Li to divorce, just to give her and the child a name. But what happened in the past few days? Su Manru kept provoking Qin Li and took him to attack Qin Li together. For Su Manru and someone else's child, he caused Qin Li to be humiliated everywhere, and his own daughter almost died in his hands. Su Manru in front of him became more and more unfamiliar, and Shen Mohan pushed her away. The accounts on the internet that say you are a mistress, are they really posted by Qin Li? According to your popularity, a few words should be able to be on the hot search. Su Manru panicked and hurried to pull his hand. "Brother Shen, I have my reasons." Shen Mohan avoided her and walked around her to leave, but was hugged from behind by her. "Brother Shen, I know you are angry, but I also love you. I am afraid that you will be soft-hearted to her. I know I was wrong. Don't leave." She walked in front of him while saying, apologized with tears in her voice, and quickly untied his belt, raised her head and kissed him eagerly. Shen Mohan pushed away with disgust. "I don't have this mind now." Looking at his resolute back, Su Manru bit her lips hard. She had tried everything, but she didn't expect Qin Li to be so lucky and escape again and again. And now Shen Mohan blames her. A message came from the phone, saying that Huzhou said they didn't find anyone. What a bunch of rubbish. Su Manru's face was grim, and she roared and threw the phone, but soon she pulled herself together and chased after Shin Mo-han and got into his car. Shin Mo-han kept calling people to find Chin Lee, and Su Manru was angry and anxious. Brother Shin, Sister Chin must have someone else outside, so she ran so fast, afraid that you would find out. If you go find her now, what if you ruin her good thing? He glanced at her coldly. How do you know she has someone outside? She wasn't live broadcasting. The live broadcast was to clarify for you, and the words were read as they were. Su Manru didn't give up, Auntie Wang told me. She saw Chin Lee cheating on men with her own eyes, and more than once. The car fell into a terrible silence. After a moment, Shin Mo-han took her phone and called Auntie Wang. As soon as the call was connected, Aunt Wang's cheerful voice came over. Miss Su, should I call you Mrs. Shin now, or do you have a way to pretend that Chin Lee went to find some gangsters? Call them in to play, and then frame Chin Lee, TSK. This trick is too good. Su Manru's pupils dilated, and Shin Mo-han covered her mouth tightly. Aunt Wang continued. But it's a pity that I didn't suffocate the child to death in the hospital. It's all because Chin Lee knelt down so quickly. If it had been delayed for another 10 seconds, the child who was in the way would have died. Su Manru's voice aroused Aunt Wang's suspicion, and the phone was hung up. Shin Mo-han pinched her neck fiercely. You dare to instruct Aunt Wang to kill my daughter? It was dawn. I have lived here for a month. I slept very well during this month. I don't have to worry about someone breaking in, nor am I afraid that the child will be taken away. The illness caused by fatigue after giving birth has also gradually improved a lot. When I left the room, 5 confinement nannies were taking care of an N in the next room, recalling Aunt Jiang's scolding of the young maid. My heart was warm. No need to explain. I believe in my judgment of people. Miss Chin is my guest, and no one is allowed to discuss this matter in the future. The young maid had been dismissed, and when others saw me coming out, they all gave me a kind smile. Good morning, sister. Aunt Jiang's son is called Jiang Ming. He dyed his hair back the day after we came, and he didn't want to go to the internet cafe. Isn't An awake? I bought her a lot of toys. Jiang Ming kept walking, carrying toys to coax An. Not long after, the sound of An's giggling came from the room. I just stood at the door and watched An being amused, and I couldn't help but burst into tears. In the past, I always took care of others. When I was a child, I took care of my adoptive parents, and after they passed away, I took care of my grandparents. After my adoptive father's family passed away, I met Grandpa Shin, so I married Shin Mo-han. He didn't let me show my face in public. I could only wait for him to come home and let him vent, but now I met Aunt Jiang and her son, and felt the kindness from strangers. They also gave me a place to stay so that I didn't have to wander around. Why are you crying? Aunt Jiang came over to wipe my tears. I shook my head. I'm just very grateful to you. Silly child. I like you. Jiang Ming likes An, and we are happy to meet you. I laughed. We are also very happy to meet you. In the afternoon, the police officer called me to come over. Aunt Jiang was busy, and Jiang Ming sent me out. I felt thirsty on the way, and wanted to buy water when I passed the supermarket. After walking a few steps, a big hand behind me grabbed my wrist. Chin Lee, finally found you. Shin Mo-han was sweating and panting as he pulled me away. I had already finished my confinement, and my strength had recovered by half, so I raised my hand and slapped him. Shin Mo-han, let me go. He was stunned for a long time, but refused to let me go. Chin Lee, where is our child? How dare you ask about our child? Have you taken care of her since she was born? She was so young. You almost killed her. Shin Mo-han's lips were dry, and he said to me in a low voice, Chin Lee, I know I was wrong. It was Su Manru who deceived me. Please take me to see the child. I will take you home. Impossible. I gritted my teeth and said, trying to pull my wrist away. Shin Mo-han's grip became tighter and tighter. When we were in a stalemate, Jiang Ming rushed over and kicked him to the ground. Where did you come from, you bastard? How dare you touch my sister? For bodyguards held Shin Mo-han down, and he shouted, let go, I'm Shin Mo-han. Who dares to touch me? Jiang Ming frowned. Sister, who is this guy? I rubbed my wrist and said calmly, my ex-husband. Is it the beast who insisted on being the scapegoat for the female star? Shun Mohan hurriedly said. Qin Li, I didn't marry Man Ru, I drove her away. Who would believe that? We're going to the police station, so take him with us. Jiang Ming escorted me to the Bentley and asked the bodyguards to stuff him into the van. Before the car door closed, he realized, Sister, why did you go to the police station, Miss Qin? I'm sorry to have wasted your time, because the human traffickers in Huzhou were too rampant that year, and many children were lost at the same time. It takes time to compare the data. Jiang Ming was wearing a high school uniform today, and he looked even more childish standing next to me. Hearing the police officer apologize, he opened his mouth wide. Sister, were you abducted when you were a child? Yes, when I was 5 years old, so I came to find my parents. Is it such a coincidence? Jiang Ming whispered. At this time, another police officer came over with the information to me. Miss Qin, after comparing the data, your parents are very likely to be these two. I took it and looked at the two names on the information, which were inexplicably familiar. Jiang Huajian, Jiang Ni. Jiang Ming was even more excited. Aren't these my parents? Before I could react, Jiang Ming had finished the call. 10 minutes later, Aunt Jiang rushed in and hugged me. Child, it's really you. I felt the sweat and tears on her face intertwined, and she didn't speak for a long time. God, am I dreaming? The biological mother I miss so much is Aunt Jiang, who showed me kindness and took me home, and Jiang Ming, who jumps up and down and coaxes An to call him uncle every day, is my biological brother. The suffering I had endured in the first half of my life turned into a strong sense of happiness at this moment, and I couldn't help crying out loud, Mom, you are my mom. The three of us cried and laughed, making the police officers laugh too. Shun Mohan was brought out over there, and the accompanying police officer asked me if I wanted to pursue the matter. Mom, this is my sister's stupid ex-husband. Jiang Ming pointed at him and complained. My mother protected me behind her and glanced at him coldly. Boss Shun, I didn't expect that we are so destined. Shun Mohan was also stunned when he saw his mother. Although the Shun group is rich and powerful, there are people outside of people. For the development of the company, he also needs to bow his head and flatter, and the Jiang family is the one who he has flattered countless times but couldn't get cooperation. Boss Jiang, there is a misunderstanding. It seems that our understanding of misunderstanding is not the same. I hid behind my mother and watched Shun Mohan shrink his head, and my heart was refreshed. When I returned to the Jiang family, my mood was completely different. My mother introduced my identity to everyone again. The servants were very happy and laughed while holding An. My father, who was looking for me in other cities, had a video call with me. His hair turned white after years of searching. He burst into tears when he saw me and kept apologizing for not believing in me. I also kept crying. Jiang Ming came in and saw me and hung up the video. Dad, my sister has been crying all day. Let her rest for a while. Come back quickly. Bring a teddy bear with you before you come back. An likes it. So An saw the 5-meter-tall super bear and cried on the spot. Dad was chased and scolded by Mom, and Jiang Ming held An and watched the fight. And I saw Shun Mohan, who was waiting outside in the bustle. He had a haggard look in his eyes and was shaking when he saw me come out. Qin Li, please, give me a chance to make a fresh start. Let's get back together. I will definitely treat An well and you well. We will live a good life as a family of 3. I watched several bodyguards ready to go out from the corner of my eye. Shun Mohan, I've made it very clear that I won't forgive you, let alone remarry you. But An needs a dad. I find it ridiculous. When An needs a dad the most, you're busy being a dad for someone else's child, and when I just gave birth and needed my husband's company the most, you asked me to take care of another woman during the confinement period. After saying that, I turned around and walked away, and the sound of Shun Mohan falling to his knees rang out behind me. I've checked it out. Su Manru didn't go out to get drunk that night because she was heartbroken. She was just going to order a male model. The child wasn't conceived that day. She was hanging out all day and had been pregnant for a long time. She lied to me about other things on purpose. I didn't know people well and I was blind. Qin Li, please give me a chance. I won't let her go. Before the bodyguard escorted me in, I said to him, then I'll think about it. Shun Mohan was ecstatic and went back immediately. but he just caught Su Manru making an appointment with the hottest director at the moment. Making love in the villa room. Aunt Wang was watching outside for her, and she was so scared when she saw him coming back, as soon as he raised his hand. Several people held Aunt Wang down, and the others rushed into the room to take photos and videos. That day, the high-definition, uncensored video of Su Manru and the director spread all over the internet, and many photos were printed as small advertisements and posted on the streets. Su Manru's reputation collapsed, and she was chased and insulted by countless netizens. Some people also dug up that she used to go to bars frequently, and more than a dozen ducks posted videos to prove that she was their client. When the wall fell, everyone pushed it. Her black fans rushed in and exposed more black materials, making her completely disappear from the entertainment industry. Shin Mo-han posted a long article through the group's account. The article wrote about his childhood sweetheart story with Su Manru, and the reason for marrying me. It also wrote about how Su Manru deceived him after I gave birth, and how he treated me. He wrote sincerely, regretting every 3 sentences and apologizing every 10 sentences. Finally, Chin Lee, I love you, but I hurt you. I am willing to spend my whole life to atone for my sins to you and my daughter. After many news accounts forwarded it, Shin Mo-han's affectionate confession shocked the entire internet. Netizens were moved by him and shouted for me to forgive him, but I was speechless and laughed out loud after reading it. He said he loved me, but I never felt his love for me from beginning to end. He married me because of my grandfather's coercion, and I got pregnant because he couldn't disobey my grandfather. So he turned his anger into lust and vented it on me. He even had our child. Regardless, he only thought about Su Manru and didn't even look at Anan carefully. Now he says he loves me. My mother brought me a cup of hot milk, and seeing that I was still watching the news, she hugged me distressedly. Good child, don't watch it. Your father has already dealt with it. He won't let Shin Mo-han have an easy time. But I don't want to let my parents do it alone. When the popularity of Shin Mo-han's apology letter reached its peak, I registered an account and posted new content. In the divorce agreement, he only gave me 1 million, but this 1 million has not arrived yet. In the surveillance of the villa, I was forcibly dragged into the van. In the confinement center, he ordered me to serve Su Manru during the confinement period. In the hospital surveillance, Su Manru instructed Aunt Wang to smother my child to death, and Shin Mo-han forced me to kneel down. And in the luxury ward, I was pressed down by someone to live broadcast, and I was not looking at the camera at that time, but the bodyguard holding the words. These videos aroused the emotions of netizens, and everyone attacked him. Isn't this a beast? He let his wife, who had just given birth, take care of other women after the confinement. What's funny is that Su Manru's child doesn't even know whose duck it is. Mr. Shin is so generous, rushing to be a scapegoat. What's so generous about him? He said he gave half of his property, but it was only 1 million, and he refused to give it. A passionate confession. Go to hell. The account of Shin's group was cyberbullied and cancelled within 2 days. Jiang Ming was busy decorating the baby room for Anan recently. After reading the news, he sneered disdainfully. 1 million. How could he say that? Sister, come and see. Is it better to put this big bear on the left or the right? I smiled and pointed to the right. Put it next to the crib. A few days after the account was cancelled, Shin's group collapsed. First, the financial department reported the group for tax evasion, and then the major groups cancelled cooperation, and the previous projects could not continue. Shin Mo-han went around asking for help, but he couldn't save himself from bankruptcy. I heard that he still owed a lot of debts, and he couldn't repay them even if he sold his house. These were all told to me by my father happily, and I understood that he was venting his anger for me. If there is another scandal of having a child out of wedlock, she will be driven to death by the internet exposure. But the servant put on my coat considerately, and I said thank you. When I looked up, I saw Shin Mo-han standing outside again, stopped by the bodyguard. He had lost a lot of weight. His skin was pale, and his lips were bloodless. Chin Lee, I made Su Manru pay the price. Can you? He looked at me, then lowered his head to look at Anan in my arms. Anan was sleeping soundly, and I blocked his view. Shin Mo-han, don't show up again. I've thought about it and I can't forgive you. But Enan, I changed my surname back to Jiang, and Enan also took my surname, Jiang Swayan. She has a mother, uncle, grandparents who love her, and she doesn't need you." Shun Mohan murmured a few times, and in the shock of the bodyguards, he turned away reluctantly. The next day, news came that Su Manru was mentally ill, stabbed Shun Mohan to death, and then committed suicide. But these have nothing to do with me. I am busy with my family, living a happy and carefree life.